Hey guys, welcome to Taste This TV. I'm Chef Joe Ciminera. You know, we have a great show for you here today. That's right, Sahlens Hot Dog. When you're talking about hot dogs, I mean, it is probably the American staple food, right? I mean, let's face it, everybody loves a hot dog. I mean, even kids alike, they're growing up, parents, ball games, etc. The hot dog has always been a staple in the American diet. But there's a difference between a hot dog that's really good and a hot dog that's so-so, and then there's a hot dog that's really garbage. I'm introducing you, if you haven't heard of it before, Sahlens Hot Dog. And Sahlens is one of the best hot dogs I've ever had in my life. Now, I've traveled all over the United States, and you know, wherever you go to California, you can go to all the way to New York. They do their dogs different, right? New Yorkers will tend to put the dogs in some water, some boiling water. They call it a dirty water dog. And that's typically how they will give you the hot dog, especially at those hot dog trucks. And then you can have your condiment choices, right? You have your New York onions, even some raw onions as well. But if you go to California, those dogs are usually broiled. And they eat their dogs broiled, sometimes on the grill. But if you ever go to a lot of those hot dog places that are in California, or if you go to anyone's house, a traditional residential house, you'll find that they broil their hot dogs. And then if you go all the way down to Florida, they always put cheddar cheese on their dogs. So, and then of course, Texas, a couple of the Midwest states, they're grilling their dogs. So today we're going to be grilling them, because Sahlens hot dogs are best grilled. There's a variety of the different combinations of flavors and textures as well. Like for instance, there's original sheepskin, natural casings. There's also skinless. There's the original. Either way, they're really good on the grill, so I don't suggest you do them any other way. So let's get started. Let me show you different kinds of hot dogs and different varieties we're going to be working with today. Then I don't know, we're probably going to do like maybe a fried onion or a sauteed onion dish, a traditional topping that'll go on top of the hot dog. You can put whatever topping you want on your hot dog, but just don't put ketchup. So we're working with mustard today. So coming up next. So Sahlens has their original packaging, the original beef, smokehouse hot dogs. Typically, I'll generally dive into one of these before I take any of their other flavors. This is definitely my favorite, although I'm going to be working with the skinless today as well. Now, the skinless dogs are just as good. Really, the only difference is a lighter color, but still great flavor. And you know, that's really the secret to a hot dog, folks. I got to tell you that a lot of people can make hot dogs. They can put anything into the form, make it look like a hot dog. But it takes an art, an unbelievable art form, to really get it to the point where it tastes incredible. And this company has been doing it for a long time. They've been making incredible tasting hot dogs that have basically been the staple of all American families here. Gluten-free, they're fully cooked, they're great for frying, great for grilling. Now, I do have a pet peeve when I'm opening up, when people open up packages of hot dogs, because too many times people take a knife and sort of just and they always pierce the hot dog. And it really does affect the grilling because, you know, especially when you have the casing here, you know, the whole job of cooking a hot dog, the whole mastery behind cooking a hot dog is to make sure that it's juicy and plump inside. And in order to do that and retain the flavor, you don't want to start poking this with a fork. And I see that too many people too, when they cook hot dogs on the grill, they use a fork. Not supposed to use a fork, you use a pair of tongs. You want to keep that flavor, that juice that's in there, that's been marinating in there. Last thing we want to do is puncture it and let it go on the grill. So what I like to do is I use a pair of kitchen shears. And what I notice about Sahlens hot dogs is you can always snip the top. There's always a little area to pull, which is good. And then you just snip the top to release some of the air. and then you slice it open this way. And there you go. Nothing, you haven't made any holes. This is perfect. And this is going to go on the grill right now. Now, mind you, this has stayed out at room temperature for almost an hour. We want the hot dogs warm. We don't want to throw hot dogs on the grill cold. Okay, so the hot dogs are warm, and what we're going to do is place them down. I like to really raise the flame up in the beginning so it gets a nice char on the hot dogs. Okay, we're going to turn some of these around, see how they're doing. I love it. See, the crispier the outside, the better for me. That's how you grill a hot dog. I even like it on the burnt side. I'm not going to go too crazy today, just for the sake of the show, but you kind of get the idea, and we're going to do it on the other side. Okay, so what you're going to do right now is just clean a red onion. I typically like to use red onion as opposed to white when I'm doing onions on a hot dog. I just like the flavor a lot better. And you generally can find a smaller onion that's red than you can that's white any day. So, but the flavor overall is really good because I add a little bit of tomato sauce and everything else. So what we're going to do is a half moon cut. We're basically going to take the onion. Try to get as thinly cut as possible, because realistically, you don't want to bite into a crunchy onion with a hot dog. So it's really important that we got the onions nice and thin here. Okay, now we're going to take all these onions and put them in a pot and season them. Get yourself sort of a deep pan so you can be able to kind of stew all the sauces, all the wonderful spices that we're going to put in there, and let these onions and give the onions a time to cook, because they have to cook slowly, they have to render down, and you want the caramelization of this all. So first we're going to go down with some oil, and then we're going to add our onion. Okay, next we're going to be turning these onions here. You have to make sure that you're doing this regularly so that they don't stick to the bottom. If you notice down at the bottom there are no burnt marks or anything like that, you want to be able to take down the sugars but not burn it, because you can distribute a burnt flavor through this that is not pleasant, and that's not what we're looking to achieve here. So what we're going to do now is add a half a cup of tomato sauce, and we're going to add some chili powder, probably about a quarter teaspoon. We're going to add some salt. We're going to add some black pepper. And we're going to stir this around. We're going to lower the heat. And we're going to stir and let this stew down for about 15 minutes. This is looking really good so far. Next, after 5 minutes in, we're going to add a little bit of pickle juice brine. So that's going to give it a nice vinegar flavor. It's going to change the consistency a bit as well. Okay, so we're looking good on the sauce. This is about 20 minutes. And this is exactly what I'm talking about here. We got a little bit of a bite, right? There's a little bit of texture there. It's not a total mushy mess. But overall, I mean, the smell is incredible. And then if you're going to put anything on your hot dog just besides mustard, onions are definitely the culprit here. And what we're going to do is transfer this to a ramekin. And we're going to assemble our hot dog later on. And next, I want to show you how to make a simple cheesy dish here. I'm going to show you how to make a simple cheesy dish. My cheese sauce for the dogs. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of heavy cream that you're looking for, but make sure that you try to use 40%. That's going to give you the most creamiest, thickest consistency with cheese. 1 cup of the 40% heavy cream. And we're going to let this come to a boil. You can, because it's heavy cream, it won't break. And then the second we do that, we're going to shut it off and put the American cheese in there. And I also put a special touch of blue cheese, or actually gorgonzola, which really kicks it up a notch. Now, when I talked about earlier, I said that we were going to be using a total of 2 cheeses, but we're actually going to be using 3 because I had no idea I had some 5-year-old cheddar cheese. This is a 5-year-old age reserve, and this, my friends, is going to take it to the next level. So we got regular American cheese, we got our 5-year-old reserve cheddar, and then we have our gorgonzola, which is basically a fancy blue cheese. Let's add them to the hot heavy cream right now and reduce till it thickens. Okay, so now we're here. We're here at the final stage. We've cooked the dogs. Sahlens Hot Dogs, absolutely amazing. And you know, really the key with these dogs are, and I gotta tell you, I'm from New York, so I've had them in the dirty water my whole life. But I know food, and I know how to cook food. I know how to cook a hot dog. A hot dog needs to be put on the grill. It's really where you get the most flavor of it. So, I mean, let's talk about buns a little bit. I like brioche buns. They sell them here at the local bakery by my house. So, you know, I'm partial to that. I like a good potato bun as well. But any bun is good, but the dog has to be really good. So the hot dog has to be flavorful, has to have that snap to it. You know, you might want to check out those natural casing dogs if you're really looking for like a real snap. And I'll tell you another little secret. I like to take, if it's in like, you know, natural casing, I like to keep them in like warm water right before they go on the grill with lemon juice for about maybe 20-25 minutes. And I don't know, call me crazy, it gives it a better snap. I don't know, it's just the way it is. So try that with the lemon juice and let me know what you think. Leave it in the comment section. All right, going down. We're going to assemble everything here that we talked about. The big treat of the day, Sahlens Hot Dogs. You know, they've been around since 1869. That's a lot of time to get it right. You know what I mean? So, let's get started. Let's get started with our onions because we did that first. These onions are looking good. Now, red onions are the key for this. Don't knock it until you try it. You've probably been used to white onions your whole life. This is a step up. Better flavor, better consistency, and it goes better with meat. So whether it's pork or beef, red onions have got you covered. You saw that we marinated in that red sauce, which was important. Now, you talk about any tomato sauce is good. I even knew a chef that used to do it with V8 juice. Just throw the V8 juice in there, let it go. But this is straight up tomato sauce. These are San Marzanos. Crush them up really good. Now, the really important spice in here, the 2 things, if you're gonna leave anything out, leave everything out, but the pickle juice, that's a must, and the chili powder is a must. If you want to achieve stellar onions, I'm talking stellar, my friends, this is how to do it. And remember, it's a slow cook. The power of television allows us to cut and then re-edit and stuff like that. But these things were on the stove for about 30 minutes, and you have to constantly, you stand there like babysitting. You're going to constantly stir them and stir them and stir them. But I think we got it. We got our handy dandy tongs here. We're going to assemble. We got our grilled dogs here from Sahlens, and we got this incredible, I mean, look at the consistency of it now. When you let it sit just a while, it gets really nice and thick. And this is going really good. Now, I don't say put toppings on your dogs. I just did a couple of things here that are American staples. And of course, we can't forget about our onions here. Now, these things are just really incredible. If you follow my flavor, you're never gonna go wrong with these things. You're gonna have delicious, incredible onions that you're gonna pass down for generations to generations. And really the trick of that is the pickle juice. Now let's talk about a mustard and a pickled relish. This is a dill pickled relish. That always goes good on a dog. Now you'll find this at just about every hot dog place in America, right? You drive up to one of those hot dog joints and see that. And a mustard, you gotta use like a horseradish mustard. You know, ketchup just doesn't have a role here. You know, ketchup just doesn't have a place here. I see way too many people putting ketchup on their dogs, and I'm like, you know, this is the extent of it right here. If you're gonna put anything like with a tomato base or anything like that, it's the onions. You don't mess around with no ketchup. I mean, maybe that's for the kids, but certainly not for somebody whose palate is well educated as yours now. Okay, first hot dog is gonna get our onions. but you don't want a lot of liquid in it too, because then it soaks the bread up. So there is a science to this, you know what I mean? Now on this one, we're gonna go with the cheddar cheese. This is the cheddar cheese dog right here. See how thick this is? When it's thick, it coats it nicely. It doesn't just fall down to the bun. And then on this one, the very last one, we're gonna do a combination of mustard and pickled relish. Where do people go wrong with this? They put the relish on first. The mustard has to go on first. And I don't know about you, but I'm not using any of those squirt bottle mustards either. I want to spoon my mustard. I want to know the consistency. I want to know how thick this baby is. This is going on that hot dog. Nice, nice. You know that word nice was invented for the Sahlens hot dog here. Don't play around over here, folks. 1869, you think they got it together? You better believe it. Who's in business that long? All right. Now we're gonna take our pickled relish here. And this is dill pickled relish. And again, you don't want to mess on this, just a little bit over the top. 3 dogs we did today, folks. We got our onion dog, we got our cheddar cheese dog, or cheese dog, whatever you want to call it, and we got our dill pickle relish mustard only dog. Now I'll tell you, there's one more that we're missing, but we're not going to do this until the baseball segment, and that's a chili dog. All right, now I've been to just about every county, every state. Everybody loves a chili dog. All right, but you got to have a good staple. This is a good staple first, right here. You have that, you can start getting creative anywhere else. Okay, so now it's time to eat one of these dogs. And I'm gonna eat them all, but I'm gonna go at my pace. And since this is only a half-hour show, not an hour show, I think I'm gonna go with the onions. Ooh, I don't know, that cheese dog looks good. I think I'm gonna have a bite of both. All right, so here it is. And remember what I talked about earlier? I just want to point something out here. Not a soggy mess at the bottom, nothing. Nice and dry. Trust me, folks, you follow this recipe with the onion. I haven't met anybody that's tried these onions that said they aren't the best they've ever had. In fact, there was even a famous hot dog truck who used to have lines of about 40 people, 40, 50 people for lunch. I gave him some of this. He asked me for the recipe. I told him one day I'd do a show, he'd have to watch it. Anyway, let's go down. Oh my God. That is unbelievable. All right, now we're gonna go with the cheese dog. Now, I don't think we got enough cheese on this dog. So what we're gonna do is just add a little bit more to the top there. What's good about this is cheese sort of dries out. It's not so hot, not so runnery, and then you can layer it again down the hatch. Man, the flavor of this dog is amazing. I went through great lengths to get this company on the show, folks. I just want you to know. I don't like to do many hot dog shows unless I can get my hot dog a choice, and this is definitely my choice. All right, my friends, that is going to conclude this show of the hot dogs. Okay, now we could go on all day long and just do more and more and more, but we got to stop it here for time purposes. You know, check out this company, Sahlens Hot Dogs. I mean, you're gonna love it. If you haven't tried them before, I don't know how you could not have tried them. They've been around for like, you know, over 100 years. But, you know, definitely give them a shot. Log on to their website. We'll have a link here in the description code here where you can go and visit them. They got a whole bunch of different flavors. They even got some deli meats that we're gonna be doing some shows on in the future as well. So they don't just do hot dogs, but it's a company that pays attention. It's a company that does it right. Anytime I find that, I like to promote it to the world because so many people are not doing it right. So kudos to Sahlens Hot Dogs, and that's going to be it. Thank you for watching this fun-filled episode of Taste This TV. I'm your host, Chef Joe Ciminera. Remember, there are no rules in cooking, certainly not with hot dogs either. Taste this.